What's going on, everyone? Austin John Please here, and today I'm going over how to get every single Pokemon, all 227 of them, shiny in Pokemon Legends ZA. There are 227 of the 230 Pokemon in the game that you can get shiny, and I'm going over every single one of them in this video, in local Pokedex order. If you've already seen my video going over every single shiny hunting strategy, I'm going to be referencing all of those different strategies in this video with the ones that are going to be most time efficient for your time. There are also many Pokemon whose evolved forms are going to be found in the wild as shinies at some point, but I assume that you're going to try to be the very best like no one ever was, so I'm going over the base forms of every Pokemon. There's exactly 100 Pokemon families in this game. That's weird. Okay, all 100 Pokemon families. I have shiny hunted pretty much every single one of the Pokemon in this video over the last 477 and 408 hours of gameplay and testing to come up with the most effective ways for you to shiny hunt every single Pokemon here. Take this video, add it to your watch for later because you are going to be coming back here. You're going to see that there's a lot of chapters, and the chapters are going to tell you the hunts that we're doing, but also in the description is going to be all of the Pokemon in Pokedex order, as some of them are really only grouped with other hunts that you're going to be doing, and if you're looking for one specifically, it might be grouped in with someone else. And if you found this video helpful, all I ask is that you check the subscribe button to make sure you're subscribed. A lot of people think they are because of how many videos of mine that they've seen, and they aren't subscribed, or YouTube unsubscribed them. Great. On with the video. First up is going to be the starters. All three of the starters at the beginning of the game, Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile, are going to be shiny locked, meaning the one that you get. However, after you reach Wild Zone 20, you can come inside of here and get them spawning in the wild. They're also going to be mixed in with the Kanto starter, so I am going to be mentioning them here. If you're looking for Chikorita and Bulbasaur can only spawn in two specific locations. One is right over there where that Bulbasaur is hanging out, and the other one is going to be this spawner right here. These are the only two spawners in Wild Zone 20 that can have Bulbasaur and Chikorita. Both of their spawner locations are also occupied by two other Pokemon, Roserade and Gardevoir, so you have a 25% chance at actually getting your desired starter showing up. You have two options for shiny Bulbasaur and Chikorita. The easiest is going to be just benching at this specific bench right here, as you're well within the range of both of the spawners, or you could constantly decide to fly to Wild Zone 20 and then come up to the right hand side and run within 50 meters of that furthest spawner. It's up to you to decide which one is more fun or interesting for you. Tepig and Charmander are only found in two spawners in Wild Zone 20. One is going to be this one right here where this Charmander is, and the other one is going to be a little bit further over there, actually where that Hippowdon is. Charmander and Tepig also share these two spawners with Lucario and Hippowdon, so you have a 25% chance of getting the desired starter that you'd like. Since there are no benches within the spawn radius of both of those spawners, your best bet in order to get these two guys is to fast travel here, run over to the left-hand side until you're within 50 meters of the Hippowdon range, and then fast travel back to Centrico Plaza, not Wild Zone 20. Totodile and also Squirtle are actually the easiest starters to hunt, as one of their spawners is centered right at that location right there where it says 22, and the other spawner is right over there where it says 38. This one on the left in the water also shares an encounter table with Dragalge and Malamar, but the one on the right also shares an encounter table with Roserade and Gardevoir. So that one has a much higher chance of getting you a shiny Totodile, 1 out of 4, and that one 1 out of 6. If you are going to be shiny hunting them, all you have to do is just constantly fast travel to Wild Zone 20 over and over and over again. Fletchling is one of the easiest Pokemon in the game to get as a shiny, and I do not recommend shiny hunting it, as there's a high likelihood you're just going to randomly come across one in the world. But if you want to go out of your way and hunt a Fletchling, you can find an alpha one located here on the rooftop in Wild Zone 3, and you get this one just by doing the door method right here. As far as shiny Bunnelby, that's another Pokemon that you probably shouldn't shiny hunt just because you may run into one in the wild. But if you do need to shiny hunt one, there's going to be the second Pokemon in Wild Zone 1, that Bunnelby right there. Just fast travel to Wild Zone 1 over and over, and eventually that one will be shiny. There's also a high likelihood that later in the game you're going to be shiny hunting Chespin over here at Wild Zone 17, and those three mud piles all have a high likelihood of containing Diggersby, so you're not going to have to shiny hunt Diggersby if you're going to go after that Chespin. Scatterbug is another Pokemon that you're most likely going to be finding while you're just trying to do other hunts. And there's one hunt that I'm going to recommend later that's also going to involve Spritzee at Cafe Truck 2. If you decide to just fast travel to this one location over and over again, if you head down the stairs toward the sewer and you go underneath the tunnel, underneath the Cafe Truck, back here, you're going to be finding Scatterbug and Spupa. Weedle is also another very easy Pokemon for you to go ahead and get shiny. For the many various Pokemon that you're going to want to hunt inside of Wild Zone 4, right outside is going to be this tree right here that has a spawner that has Kakuna, and on this branch has Weedle. Both of those can be shiny from within the spawner radius of when you fast travel to Wild Zone 4. Pidgey is another Pokemon that you probably shouldn't shiny hunt just because of how easy you're going to find it in the game. But the easiest way to do it is to come here to Wild Zone 3 and go in between the doors, which is the fastest shiny hunting method in the game. And this Pidgey on this lamppost right here is within that zone, so there's a high likelihood this one on this lamppost will be shiny. For shiny Mareep, you are going to be getting one as part of a quest, and it's going to be on that roof over there in Wild Zone 1. But over here at the Professor's Lab, if you just fast travel here, you're going to be within range for these two Mareep. And this is probably the best place to get a shiny Mareep, also considering that this is how you're going to be hunting Pichu over here. Yeah, you're going to come across that Mareep, no problem. Patrat is another one of the Pokemon that is very common all over Lumio City. But once again, truck number 2, while you are doing this hunt for the many Pokemon I'm going to reference in this location, this scaffolding over here has 2 different Patrat spawns. One's on top of there, and then the other one is going to be hiding inside of here. Both of those can be shiny from fast traveling to Cafe Truck number 2 over and over. Budew is also going to be an extremely easy hunt. At Wild Zone 3, when you're doing the door method on that tower right there, and you head up this Holovator, Budew's going to be hanging out here on the rooftop. It is a skittish Pokemon, so be sure to save before you go ahead and encounter it. Yeah. This Budew right here, and these Vivillon can all have a chance of being shiny just from doing the door method on that tower. Ah, the pinnacle of shiny Pokemon, Golden Magikarp, also with the beautiful red Gyarados. I named mine Cynthia, by the way. You most likely don't have to hunt a shiny Magikarp, as there's many locations with waterways that are going to be containing them, including one that I'm going to talk about a lot, truck number 2. This one right here has 3 Magikarp. All of them are within the fast travel range of you fast traveling to this truck over and over again. Binacle, there's actually a bunch of different locations that you can get Binacle, but for all the Pokemon that you're going to be doing Wild Zone 6 for, the Binacle that are going to be hanging out in the sewer are very, very close to where you're going to be fast traveling in, so high likelihood you are going to be able to get yourself one just from fast traveling here. There's going to be a bunch of hunts that you're going to be doing in Wild Zone 10 that has a chance at producing a shiny Staryu for you, but if you actually need to get yourself one, I would recommend Wild Zone 2. Fast traveling here at nighttime is going to produce that Alpha Staryu located over to the right hand side, as well as a bunch of other random ones in the water, all well within your fast travel location. Here you could also get your random Magikarp or Budew. Shiny Floette is a very easy Pokemon to get. In Wild Zone 3, you have a few Floette that spawn right in the middle of the Pokeball Center, and just by doing the door method, one of these is going to be shiny very quickly. Next is Skiddo. Skiddo is also located here in Wild Zone 3, and by doing the door method, you are going to be getting yourself a Skiddo very easily. Espurr actually has 14 different spawn locations in the entire game in Wild Zone 3, and if you're doing the door method there, there's a chance that you get one, but if you're frustrated with how many other Pokemon that you're getting from this Wild Zone without getting a shiny Espurr, you're actually going to be doing another hunt later on here at Rouge Sector 7 for all the bug Pokemon located in Wild Zone 13, and at this exact location that I am right now is going to be a bench. And this bench is actually going to be touching 2 Espurr who hang out in this alleyway over here. I'm going to be doing this hunt later on, and that's where I'm going to be getting my shiny Espurr. Next is Litleo, one of the most common shiny Pokemon in the entire game, thanks to the door here in Wild Zone 3. You have 3 Litleo spawners over here at the left-hand side. This one is always going to be Litleo, and this one inside of here is a fixed alpha of a Litleo. Next up is Pancham, one that I actually surprisingly haven't gotten yet. Pancham only has a 15% chance to be one of these 2 spawners here in Wild Zone 3, between this one and the one next to it that's also shared with Litleo. And on the Skiddo side, there's a 15% chance that Skiddo and that Skiddo right there can be a Pancham. Trubbish is an extremely easy Pokemon for you to get if you know where to look. If you come here to Wild Zone 8 and you are going to be doing a fly method here for a lot of these Pokemon, when you're spawning them in, if you head up the stairs and you go to the alleyway right here you're going to be finding Trubbish and I think it's always an Alpha Garbodor. Yeah, they're going to be hanging out here, and there's a high likelihood that those are going to be shiny after fast traveling to Wild Zone 8 after a while. Dedenne is one of the easiest hunts in the game. Over here in the Magenta District, right next to the Magenta Pokemon Center, is going to be this spawner right here that has a 50% chance to be Dedenne and a 50% chance to be Emolga. And they're just always distracted, eating themselves a little fruit. If you just fast travel to this Pokemon Center over and over again, after no time, that one will be a shiny. There is only one Pichu in the entire game, and that Pichu is located right by the Pokemon Research Lab, right next to it. So for this one, you could either fast travel to the Pokemon Research Lab over and over again, or you could do it benchless like I am, and after 68 days, it might be shiny. You could do that too. Cleffa is a little bit of a cumbersome hunt to do. There's, I believe, 5 spawners all throughout the world that can have Cleffa in them, but you are going to be doing a bunch of hunts here in Wild Zone 19, and every single night you have a chance for these Cleffa and Clefairy all to be here. So there's a good chance that one of these is actually going to be randomly your Cleffa when you're hunting something else. And because they only show up at night, your best bet in order to shiny hunt them is to fast travel here to Wild Zone 19, run slightly to the left just so that you're within the middle of that spawner, and then just repeat that over and over again. Spinarak, you've accidentally shiny hunted Spinarak before. I guarantee it. With whatever shiny hunt that you are doing, you have accidentally got yourself a Spinarak. But if you need a Spinarak for some reason, then you can specifically come here to Wild Zone 4. Within the entrance to the gate to Wild Zone 4, you can shiny hunt it, but also fast traveling to Wild Zone 11 in order to get some of the in particular spawns here. Up here is going to be a Spinarak right by the entrance, and there's going to be one on this tree as well. Both of these are going to be shiny by the time you're getting yourself the stuff you need in the water. For Ekans, you actually have a few options for Ekans that are very easy to do. There are 2 Ekans and an Arbok located right here in this large room in Lysander Labs, and using this teleporter right here, just by mashing A or using a turbo controller, you're going to be brought over here, which is now outside of the spawn and despawn range of the Ekans and the Arbok. So if you just mash A on this teleporter, after, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or so, you are going to be getting yourself that shiny Ekans. There's like 8 or 9 Abra spawners in the entire world. The fastest hunt would definitely be right here in Jean Sector 5, in this one little light area right next to Wild Zone 8. There's actually 2 of them right there. So I think benching right here would spawn them both in. Yep, I would call that a success. We got one of the 2 being shiny, and that's pretty fantastic. So yeah, definitely how you can go ahead and shiny hunt Abra. Gastly is our next Pokemon that there's a high likelihood you already have a shiny one just because of how readily they are available all throughout the city at night, throughout the many various hunts that you're going to do. But if you want to hunt one specifically, then coming here to Wild Zone 4 and just fast traveling to the door is probably a pretty great way to do that. Next up is Venipede, and Venipede is pretty easy to get here from fast traveling to Wild Zone 5, which is a great location because you also hit 16 and the town around you. And you do have the Venipede that like to hang out here in Blue Sector 1. For Honedge, you have 2 options. One of them is going to be here at Wild Zone 4 only at nighttime, but then also there's Lysander Cafe. And in order to get the Honedge specifically to be shiny, you have to go and step on the first teleporter as soon as you walk in. That brings you to the room that has the Honedge and the Doublade. Soon as you're here, you then want to fast travel back to the beginning, and then you could start spamming the teleporter. For some reason, if you just teleport away the first time you're not going to be within radius of the Hone Edge. Oh, look, that one's alpha. Yeah, it's definitely working. And you could just get the Doublade to be shiny, but doing this method, you have a chance of getting the Hone Edge shiny as well. And the Hone Edge is honestly one of the coolest shinies in the game. Next up is going to be Bellsprout. Bellsprout is another one of the Pokemon that is just generally present throughout the world, but if you are fast traveling here to Zone 5, there's a bunch of them. Next up, we have the elemental monkeys, Pansage, Pansear, and Panpour. I found a great location for all of them, and all you need to do is make your way over here to the Hibernal Pokemon Center. Inside of this green area in Jean Sector 4 is going to be a tree that has 3 different spawn locations for the monkeys. Just fast traveling here over and over and over again. Now it's going to randomly just pick one of the 3, as with I'm pretty sure all of the elemental monkey spawners in the game. But this one at least has 3 spawners, and it's an easy fast travel point. Next up is Medicham, which is another hunt that I haven't done, and I might as well go ahead and do it now. Here in Wild Zone 6, the entranceway is too far away from Meditite to spawn in, but Cafe Batile definitely is close enough, so I'm pretty sure if we just fast travel here, we're gonna be getting this Meditite to show up as shiny. Next up, I'm going to be talking about Manectric, and if you manage to make your way through the game without a shiny Electrike like I have, then there's a good chance that this may be handy for you. There we go. I got this one via fast traveling to Wild Zone 5. Ralts. Here in Blue Sector 5, you're going to be resetting your nights until you're going to get the battle zone here. And then if you just fast travel to the battle zone, at this exact location here in Blue Sector 7, which is a caged in area, there's 2 Bellsprout and a single Ralts, and that Ralts has a high likelihood of being an alpha. Doing this, you're actually going to be getting yourself not only the Bellsprout chance, but also the Ralts. And on top of that, there's a whole bunch of other random Pokemon like Fletchling, and inside of Wild Zone 12, you can also get the Bergmite and the Avilog all here. So pretty great spot. Next up is going to be Houndour, and Houndour you could get a bunch of places. If you didn't happen to get one in Wild Zone 6 while you're doing your hunting in Wild Zone 6, then Lysander Cafe, there's a room that has 2 Houndour. If you're using this teleporter right at the entrance for the Hone Edge at the rear of the labs, then just over here on the side is where the Houndour are and the Houndoom. So there's a good chance that while you're doing other hunts in the labs, Houndour is going to be shiny. Next up is Swablu. Swablu and Altaria is a very easy hunt for you to get just because of another hunt that you're going to be doing. So you're just going to get Swablu as a byproduct of that. Up here in Wild Zone 18 is where the Fennekin only spawns, so at some point you are going to be doing this Fennekin hunt. While you're doing this Fennekin hunt, on this bench, you're going to be getting the Bagon, who are down there on the first floor, as well as the Alpha Salamence. Up here during the day is the Swablu and Altaria, and at night is going to be Noibat and Noivern. Just by doing this bench method that you have to do for that Fennekin if you're going for all of the shinies, you're going to be getting all 3 of these families as a byproduct. Next up is Audino, whichever you want to say, cool. Here at Wild Zone 19, there are several different spawners all within the reach of the gate. So just by flying here over and over day and night, you're going to be getting plenty of Audino, Kangaskhan, Eevee, Furfuro, but if you are doing the spawn in and run over slightly to about here, then yes, you are spawning in everything in the gazebo, like the Clefairy family at night and the Drampod during the day. Next up is going to be Swirlix and Spritzy. These 2 are typically interchangeable at a lot of different locations, but one of my favorite places to hunt is right here, the Cafe Truck number 2. Just flying to this location over and over again is going to get you Patrat inside of this scaffolding, Swirlix and Spritzy on top of the cart, as well as on top of this gelato over here. You're going to be getting the Magikarp in the water down there. You're going to be getting the Gastly that spawn in this area at night. And on top of that, you are going to be getting the Bergmite, who's going to be chilling there in this Wild Zone. Eevee, a very sought after Pokemon for you to go ahead and shiny hunt. The by far easiest thing is just fast traveling here to Wild Zone 19 over and over. Oh, I actually need to go catch that alpha. And that's gonna be the last Eevee that I need. This one's gonna be an Umbreon. Next up is going to be Buneary, and if you want to follow Purple Cliff's advice, you're not going to get the shiny, but I have great news for you. I'm going to tell you how to get the shiny. Here at Wild Zone 6, you are well within range to get those two Buneary to go ahead and spawn for you, so yeah, that's a real easy one to do. Next up is going to be Shuppet, and Shuppet is very easy to get if you are doing the hunts for Pumpkaboo here in Wild Zone 15. I recommend making your way to Cafe Ultimo. Go ahead and fast travel, reset the entire time. But if you're doing a macro, then you want to run to the gate to make sure that you always drop the aggro before fast traveling. By the way, Shuppet and Banette's only at night. Going slightly out of order just a little bit to talk about Hippopotas, because Hippopotas and Vanillite are gonna be in the same place, as well as Shuppet. Here in Wild Zone 7, all you need to do is just fast travel over and over again. This one here on the left is always gonna be a Vanillite. This one here in the middle is sometimes a Vanillite and sometimes a Roserade. As for Hippopotas, they just have a 90% chance to be Hippopotas during the day and 10% to be Audino during the day, and at nighttime they're not here. At nighttime it's Shuppet instead, so daytime only, Wild Zone 7. Easy. Now I'm grouping these 5 together because the best place to hunt them all is, well, for 3 of them, the only place is here in Wild Zone 8. And then also as a byproduct of that, you're also going to be getting Drillbur, who's available other places, and Machop, who's available other places, and Garbodor, who's available other places. There's a Garbodor and a Trubbish hanging out over here. So flying to Wild Zone 8 over and over is going to be the start of a lot of shiny hunts for you. So all of them right here. This is like, if you have a way to do this as a macro, then great place to run overnight or after a full day at work, come back and then just clean up. Let's talk about Carbink. Carbink is going to be located in only 3 places in the entire game. One is on top of this spawner right there. One is this spawner right there, and one is this spawner right here. Your problem isn't so much the spawners, it's how do you reset anything near the spawners? Down there, there's a Meowstic, and then on that roof, you have a Fletchender and a Espurr. And over here is your Alpha Manectric. This area is a little rough, that this is the only bench, even near the right altitude or height. The nearby office buildings don't have any benches either, so this is really your only spot in order to get those Carbink to be shiny if you're going to be doing this any sort of, you know, easy method. Pretty sure the Mawile are outside of this spawn radius. I'm actually going to go ahead and do this Carbink hunt for a while, and I will get back to you with the results. We did not get a shiny Carbink yet. However, we definitely just got a shiny Espurr, so that's pretty neat. Oh, we got this Sableye, but he was on the ground. I still haven't gotten any of the Carbink, but interestingly enough, in the same exact spot that the Whismur was, is now a shiny Fletchender. Oh, after enough time, there we go. I also spotted that on that rooftop over there, that Fletchling is shiny. Yes, and we finally got a Carbink. There's absolutely a bench right here that can definitely hit that Sableye and Mawile. Okay, so looks like we're benching again. Okay, next up is going to be Absol. There are 4 regular spawns of Absol throughout the entire map outside of the one in Wild Zone 20. And this one right here in Jaune Sector 5 on this roof, kind of right next to Wild Zone 19. This one's just chilling on the roof here, right? And out of all the Absol spawns, this one is closest to a bench. And I believe there's also, yeah, this Pansage over here. Okay, that is Absol down. For Riolu, it's one of the most pain in the butt hunts possible. I mean, the Lucario in Wild Zone 20 are so much easier to get, but there's a few different spots that you can get Riolu. If you're just going to do it AFK, then there's one that spawns right here in Blue Sector 5 with a bench right next to a Pidgeot, nice and easy. However, it's going to take a very long time, as not only is it only a daytime spawn, it's only daytime and clear weather spawn. I'm hunting this and Hawlucha at the same time, here on top of the Passage Ombrage. Over here is going to be a Riolu spawn, and at the green is a Hawlucha slash Pidgey spawn. All of the Hawluchas also have another bird in them. I just ran back and forth to spawn in both the Hawlucha spawn up there, which is currently a Pidgey, and the Riolu spawn. And then I would just run away outside of both of their ranges, so typically to right about here. And then I would run back to right around this crystal. And that was enough range for me to go ahead and get everything in range, including this fun little guy right here. Okay, Riolu is going to choose violence. That's fine. And there we go. There is Shiny Riolu. Really a pain in the butt hunt. I would sleep down at that bench right down there until I got a clear day, go up the ladder, and then save in a position that I'm ready to just run back and forth. And if by the end of the day I didn't get it shiny, I would just reset the entire day and go again. I don't know if the weather cycle RNG is locked and is going to be the same every time that you respawn, because sometimes it changes to partly cloudy halfway through the day. But if that ever happened and it stayed cloudy or started raining or something, I would just sleep down at the bench until I finally got a good day. And I finally did. And here we are. Next up on the list is going to be Slowpoke, and also Carvanha, and also Tynamo. So all three of them you can kind of get at once. If you want to focus mostly on Slowpoke, which I would not recommend, just fast travel to the entrance of Wild Zone 10 over and over, and you can get these Slowpoke at the entrance. Actually, I need you in a repeat ball, thanks. But in order to get these Carvanha, also the Alpha Sharpedo, and the two Tynamo right underneath there, and some Slowpoke, and at nighttime I think there's randomly a Staryu. This bench right here is fantastic, and it's going to re-roll all of them. I don't think it gets the things on the roof. I'm pretty sure their spawning zone is like starting at the roof and it doesn't hang down, so it doesn't touch your spawning sphere around you. Next up is Dragonair, and there's a lot of places that Dragonair is throughout the world, but my favorite place above all else is Jean Sector 3. Just because it has this nice railing here and you can just kind of hang out and veg out and run up and down this left-hand side, and eventually it's going to be there. This is the fastest method in order to get Dratini to show up and be shiny. It also has a chance of being Dragonair and has a chance of being an alpha. And yeah, this is the best spot I have found so far. Next up is going to be Stunfisk, which is an extremely easy hunt. All you have to do is make your way to Wild Zone 11. And if you constantly fast travel to the entrance over here, which you are for a bunch of Pokemon that are only going to show up here, by the time you're done fast traveling to this area over and over, you're going to have far too many Stunfisk that you have no idea what to do with them. Next up is Furfuro, and there has never been a better time to shiny hunt Furfuro since the last time you could, like 10 years ago when X and Y was out. Here in Wild Zone 19, you're gonna have these two Furfuro spawns that are here all the time, right by the entrance. There are more spawns. Also during the daytime in, I think, early afternoon, it says, you're gonna have an Alpha Furfuro on here. The sewers is a place that if you're not shiny hunting multiple Pokemon at the same time, you're doing it very inefficiently. Down here you can get Scraggy, Litwick, Klefki, Noibat, Patrat, Inkay, Gumi, Gastly, Haunter, Squirtle, and Drygalgi. In this room right here, you're gonna be finding a few Inkay. I believe there's 3, and there's also gonna be a couple of Patrat. Along here is where you're going to be finding Squirtle, and in this room over here is where you're going to be finding Gastly, Haunter, and I believe there is one Litwick. If you do a running pattern from right here, straight down to the right, and back and forth, over and over, repeatedly, all of the Pokemon in this room, meaning the Litwick, Gastly, and Haunter, you can get shiny. I believe there's 2 Squirtle along here that you can get shiny. There are 3 Litwick in here that you can get shiny, and 2 Patrat in here that you can get shiny. And after doing back and forth along here, I was able to get all of the other spawns that I needed, nice and easy. For Inkay, you're going to be finding Inkay down here at the bottom right, and you're going to be finding Scraggy all throughout this area with a large congregation down here. So you can actually do a pattern that brings you to this exact spot, come up to the left, and then onto this bridge. Doing that is going to make it so that you can get the Inkay over here, the Scraggy down here, and the Klefki up here. Now there's only 2 Klefki, and I mean, you kind of have to be a little bit higher than halfway. Hang on, let me turn my circle on. Yeah, to hit the spawner, you might need to come all the way up to the T intersection in order to hit the spawner over here. In fact, the only one that I'm missing from here is Cleffa, and I'm not going to be hunting it down here because I don't like the sewers. I'm probably just going to do the alpha spawns in Wild Zone 20. I did test this thoroughly, and I don't know if it's just maybe my luck. I went through the Lumiose sewers entrance right here many times, and I was not able to get the Cleffa to spawn. I don't know if this is hitting their spawner. I think it's just ever so slightly out of range. I'm not too sure. You might get lucky. I have only put about 6 hours into testing it without the charm, so that's not great odds for 2. Next up is going to be Clauncher, and Clauncher is going to be here in Wild Zone 11, readily available in the water. It's going to be bright red along with the Gyarados, and if you just fast travel to the entrance of Wild Zone 11 over and over, you are very easily going to be getting it, as well as like a bunch of Pidgey that like to land behind you, and Flabébés over there by the flowers, and Spinarak up here at the top of the staircases. Next up is going to be Delibird, Snorunt, and Snover, and just by benching or fast travel and then run in, you're going to get so many better spawns than just fast traveling alone, including the Delibird, the Snorunt, the Snover. Keep in mind with the Delibird, because they are kind of difficult to catch, you should put down a save beforehand in case you fail the throw. There's the Go-Go Tour here. Even on the Battle Court, you may get a Machop. I got an Alpha Machop shiny. Pretty excited for that one. I even got the Bergmite to be shiny, who was chilling in the water close to the landmass. Plus, now that I'm only missing Vanillite, I could just go to Wild Zone, what is it, 7? Yeah, I could just hunt it at 7, and that'd be a lot easier. Okay, let's talk about Goomy. I am going to start sleeping until I come across a rainy day. I make my way over to this sewers location, not the one next to Wild Zone 5, this sewers location right on the Saison Canal. And if we look out, over here is a Goomy. And over here is a door. By just constantly going through this door, I mean, you could do this with a turbo controller and a rubber band, the entire time that it's raining, you are going to be re-rolling that Goomy who is outside. And considering how little time you actually spend out there, see, it's an alpha, it's rolling, considering how little time you're actually spending out there, this shouldn't take that long. I had no idea that there was a Goomy here as well. I was just looking at the one at the pier, who was not shiny. But right here, look at that. We were actually getting 2 possible Goomy spawns this entire time. You just gonna let me throw another ball at your face? And another? And another? This is weird. I mean, I'll take it. Oh, and look at that. We also got the Magikarp slightly downstream. Also, this Magikarp. Next up is going to be the Bugs and Phantom and Trevenant. So here at Wild Zone 13, you're going to be getting these pincers showing up. These Vivillon over here during the day. At nighttime, they are Phantom and Trevenant. We also have the Weepinbells, the Alpha Weepinbell, Heracross. That one happens to be an Alpha right now. And at nighttime, the Heracross are replaced with Scyther. Also, we're going to be getting Espurr, who likes to hang out here on the alleyway. There's up to 2 spawns for Espurr. We head over here to this battle court right behind Rouge Sector 7. We aren't going to be reaching that very first pincer as he's 67 meters away, but we are going to be reaching pretty much everything else. So if you're doing a manual hunt, you're best off just fast traveling in within the 50 meters of that. And then I'm going to hit that 50, turn around, and then leave, and then fast travel back. It looks like just from traveling that little bit in, oh, we got the Trevenant and the Phantom, so that's pretty great. Oh, we also got a Scyther over there. Yeah, Scyther. And let's go ahead and take a look at what we got in that same amount of time. Oh, we got some garbage, nice. Just from benching. Did we get the Espurr here in the alleyway? Oh, yep, we sure did. Oh, we got one of the Weepinbells, although it's not very noticeable compared to the other ones. And let's go ahead and check over the same areas at nighttime. We got a Scyther. Both Scyther. Nice. Which is very handy because both Scyther and Scizor have gender differences, so if you're going for a full form dex, you're gonna need 2 of each. Didn't get the Heracross yet and the Pinsir. And honestly, both of these methods would pretty much work for either of them because we got the Scyther and that one's further away, so nice and easy. Okay, Hawlucha is kind of a pain in the butt as well, not as much as Riolu was. The thing is, every single Hawlucha is also in a spot that spawns a random bird. Most of them are Pidgey and some of them are Fletchling, so you can do the hunt and then just come back and it's a shiny Pidgey, and now you've been locked out of Hawlucha. Is this good? Yeah, that's a fresh Pidgey. Okay, so you fast travel to Cafe Galant here in Magenta Sector, and we run left. We go up the Holovator, and then we fly back, and that's it. That's the strategy. Because fast traveling is a lot faster than benching, and every time that we get within range on the rooftop, we get a fresh spawn. Despite my many Pidgeys that I got doing this, who like to hang out on this roof instead of where my Hawlucha should be, after enough patience, boom, Hawlucha. You should be a pretty easy catch, right? Like 60%? And now you should be like 100%? Yeah, that's a GG easy. Nice. This one took a while. This one took like half a day. So, hope you got a lot of time for this one. Next up is Aerodactyl, Tyrunt, and Omura. I did put out an entire video dedicated to this, but a real quick summary and also, bastardizing that content, and it's going to be linked down below if you want to see it in detail. Over here at the Stone Emporium, you can buy the Sail Fossil, the Jaw Fossil, and the Old Amber. And after you complete the side mission 30-something in the Pokemon Research Lab down here, on the second floor, you could just go ahead and restore the fossils. Go ahead and buy 10, 20, 30, 40 at a time, and then just restore them all in a row. Since the game doesn't do an autosave after you restore one of the fossils, if you don't get it in that set amount of fossils, just reset the game, and all you need to do is just keep mashing A, and you'll be good. Onix, Aron, and Helioptile. Helioptile has a very strict criteria for it to spawn. It can only spawn during the daytime, it can only spawn during clear weather, and it can only spawn during sunny weather, much like the Riolu hunt. The good news is we do have a fast travel point, so that makes our life a little bit easier. Along the way, I guarantee you're going to be getting shiny Aron, and probably a few Drillbur, and maybe even a shiny Alpha Excadrill, also a chance at Emolga. And if you don't get Onix by the time you're done getting your your Helioptile, then you could just continue fast traveling here, and Onix is a very difficult one to get just because it shares the same spawning locations as the Drillbur. And once one of them is spawned in as shiny, it locks you out of the other, and there's only a chance at the Onix, so this is one that by the end of this video, I still don't have it yet, and I'm going to be continuing to hunt in the future. But for Helioptile, I just slept until it was daytime on the non-sleeping benches, and then if I got a nice day, I would fast travel to Wild Zone 14. The exact space for Heliolisk to spawn in is slightly after the Alpha Excadrill, so if you run in and you see Excadrill, you know for a fact that Heliolisk can spawn as long as it's daytime and sunny. So I see Excadrill and then I fast travel away, or I run out and I fast travel away. And doing that after 3 in-game days, I was able to get it, so not that bad of a hunt at all. On to the next one, that's going to be Pumpkaboo. Wild Zone 15 and Cafe Ultimo are both fast travel locations, and every single time that you spawn in here, you're going to have several Pumpkaboo on this side, or if you choose the fast travel location, you're going to have several Pumpkaboo on this side, and there's the Gourgeist in the middle. Pumpkaboo's the only basic Pokemon over here. In case you didn't know, you can get the small and the extra small sizes. Those are the two on the left during the day, and you could get the large and extra large, aka jumbo sizes, at nighttime. So plan accordingly. Also, I put out the whole video on why the bench reset method is horrible for this place, because it doesn't save the information because it's overwriting because of the sizes or something. So yeah, if you're hunting this one specifically, go watch that video. Next up on our list is going to be Larvitar, and I believe you have two different ways that you can go about it. You can go the much faster route, which is going to be you actively playing the game, or there's going to be the much slower route, but you can bench it away. And once we go ahead and get on top of the roof, we're going to be having this bench located right here, and that is well within that range of that Larvitar who's currently in alpha. Does that have an increased alpha rate? Let me look this up real quick. Yes, 20% chance for that one to be an alpha. So if you wanted to bench here for that Larvitar, it's going to be a very long hunt, but you might get it. Alternatively, and much better of a hunt to do, make your way to this Holovator right here on Hibernal Ave. I've never said that name as long as I've played this game. Wow, look at that. And this Holovator is going to be bringing you up to the second floor, and over on the left-hand side, over this web, is going to be the top little rooftop area of Wild Zone 15 that has 3 Larvitar spawns. If we just run 70 meters away and 50 meters toward it, it's going to be a very simple hunt to do. This was a surprisingly very fast hunt. This was like one in-game day. Can you rock smash that Larvitar and don't touch the other one? Did you miss him? Okay. Now you could defeat that one. There we go. Nice and easy. GG. Next up is going to be Froakie, and Froakie is one of the very many Pokemon that you can get from fast traveling to Wild Zone 5. And it probably is the fastest way to get it to spawn. Well, that's nice and easy to see, so I can see exactly how far away we have to be. So if you wanted to run back and forth just for Froakie to show up, you absolutely could. You need to go... Oh, here we go. Perfect. To the sewer. To the sewer of Greninja. That's too perfect. I literally can't write anything that good. Now, it's completely up to you if you just want to go ahead and fast travel to Wild Zone 5 over and over again, because you're going to be fast traveling right there, which is within the 50 meters of Wild Zone 16. In fact, that's where I got my shiny Froakie from. Pretty much everything inside of Wild Zone 16 you're also going to be getting by fast traveling there, except for Phalanx. For Phalanx, you have to do this running method or fast travel to Wild Zone 16. So here at Wild Zone 17 is the only place to find Chespin, and there's 3 separate spawners that either contain Diggersby or they contain, there he is, Chespin. And I believe it's a 50-50 split. It just has them listed there, so that usually defaults to 50-50. Now there is like a neat little trick that you can do, and I think I already released a video on this. I don't know when I'm putting this video out compared to my other video that I'm about to talk about. If you do the thing that we did for the alphas in Wild Zone 20, except you do it here, you can get multiple spawners at the same time. I'm gonna go ahead and do that method over again, and that's how you get shiny Chespin. Next is going to be Skarmory, and there's 2 ways to do Skarmory. One is you run from here to here, back and forth, next to Zone 17, because that's where Skarmory's hanging out, or you go find a bench. And the reason we're sitting in a bench is we're trying to get the Vert Sector 6 Battle Zone to be present, and if it is present, you'll notice that it drops you off at the back door to Wild Zone 17, and you even see Skarmory take flight right then and there. So all you have to do to get Skarmory is just constantly fast travel back to Wild Zone, back to this battle zone over and over. It doesn't last very long because, you know, it's just a one-night thing, but I was actually able to get mine within the one night because, you know, every time you're on the pause screen, you're freezing time. I also got, I think, 3 shiny Pyroar that way, so yeah, you're gonna get some more Pyroar just in case you didn't have enough shiny Litleo from Wild Zone 3. And you're gonna be good. That's how I got my Skarmory, and it was very fast, and 10 out of 10 recommend. Oh, look at that. I didn't even pause recording, and we got a shiny Pyroar just by doing that. Okay, next up is Drampa, and Drampa's hunt is long and inconvenient. I finally got it. After a long time. So many shiny Kangaskhan and other Pokemon finally have it. Okay, Drampa only spawns during the first quarter of the day. If you look at the top left of the map, you have your big circle around the outside, and if you didn't realize, the outer circle of it where you see the blue on top of the transparent, that's your day meter. Only from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock, talking about the radical time, not the actual daytime, is when Drampa is going to be spawning in that atrium. There are 3 ways to shiny hunt Drampa: the best, the worst, and somewhere in between. The absolute worst way, meaning the amount of hours that it takes, would be for you to knock it out, time how long it takes to respawn, and then just restart your game every single time, waiting for it to respawn with the 1 out of 1096 chance, which is approximately 5.5 hours on Switch 2 and much longer on Switch 1, like 22 hours if you were to do it without the shiny charm. Alternatively, if you were to come over here to this gate, run out to 70 meters and in 20 meters to 50, and just do that over and over. And even if you don't see the Drampa spawn, it's still going to be there. And you can do this, but only for the first quarter of the day. Otherwise, it turns to Alpha Furfuro, as you see right there. After a quarter of the day is done, you have to go find a bench and sleep until night. What I chose to do is sleep at the Pokemon Center, and then every morning come over here to Wild Zone 19, and then just run slightly to the left, and then fast travel again. And that's all you have to do, is just run that about 10 meters or so. If that gazebo is within 50 meters, that's all you need. Just do that over and over and over again. And then at the end of every quarter of a day, you would then have to go sleep until nighttime, sleep until daytime, and repeat the process over. Before I got my Drampa, I got 1, 2, 3 Furfuro, 1, 2 Audino, 5 Kangaskhan. There's another one on the map. I'm not going to catch it because I already have 6 on top of the 5 I just got. My second game also got a Kangaskhan, 2 Audinos, and I just haven't been, and an Eevee, and I just haven't been catching them because I don't need them. Drampa is the most difficult one here in Wild Zone 19 and might be one of the biggest pain in butts in the entire game. On to the very last hunt in the entire game. I've covered 99 of them, and this is the last one, and it's going to be Beldum. Beldum's a nice, easy hunt to do, but does have some very unique criteria about it. Here in Lysander Labs, under the Lysander Cafe, you're going to make your way over to the Beldum room, which is located here on the left side of the map, except don't go in the room just yet. You want to make sure you drop the aggro of any Pokemon in the area, probably the Houndoom and Houndour, and then just go look at the Beldum, spawn them both in, then you have to fast travel back to the entrance. And then you're gonna run to this teleporter over here, located here in Lysander Labs. And then you're gonna go ahead and teleport. You're gonna be right here on the map. You need to listen for the Beldum in this room. So when you spawn in, it's gonna come out of your right speaker, and it's gonna be very quiet. Yes, I heard them. And then only after you have heard them, do you start mashing the A button. And then they can be shiny. For some reason, you have to hear them to know that they're spawned in. I've done this for 12 hours without hearing them, and they have not spawned in. I did this for a half hour with them spawned in and got them both to be shiny. So I don't know why it is this way, but it is this way. The only other Pokemon that applies to is the Honedge, located right here at the top of the labs. And there we go. That is all 227 shiny huntable Pokemon in Legends EA. Thank you so much for making it through. This was quite a video and probably one of my most extensive guides I've ever done. Thank you for being here. If you found this helpful, hit the thumbs up button. If you made it this far in the video, you should already be subscribed. Check the subscribe button to make sure that you are. Hit the like button. Share this with anyone who needs to hunt any Pokemon in this game. Until next time, Austin John out.
Man, they see me shining like I got the charm. Stay strapped, got that jet ball in my palm. Fell from the sky, guess I'm the chosen one. And if you need to know how, check out Austin John. Champion flow, yeah, I got that